I'll be hurt, I'll be out of work, but I won't be afraid. When disaster strikes, I'll call all nines.
You may not see it coming, but when disaster strikes, call George Sink Injury Lawyers and all nines.
News 12, voted best weather coverage by the Georgia Association of Broadcasters. From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
Which bills made it out of the State House? Next, live at 5, we have more on the last day of the legislative session. But first, a young, quiet student, someone's first son, is gone with no answers about his mysterious death.
Now the family of 13-year-old Buddy Brown is sitting down with us for the first time in an exclusive interview. His mother telling us his smile was one of the things that she'll miss the most about her son. She says it could light up any room that he walked into. He loved his family, his games, reading books, and most of all, he loved his food, loved his mother's food, his grandmother's food. He was a 7th grader at Hornsby Middle School, where his friends say that he was such a sweet soul and would never hurt anyone. We sat down with Buddy's family today as they continue to search for answers.
You might hide now, but you're going to turn in. And once you turn in, God going to be right there waiting for you.
And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, the family is releasing new details about what they say may have happened that night when Buddy Brown was gunned down outside of the Richmond Summit Apartments.
13 years old. Thanks for that update, Will. Moving on now,
Heading our way in that weekend forecast in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. The start of the Augusta National Women's Am is underway. Today was round 1, and as you can see behind us, Champions Retreat Golf Club in Evans was full of patrons this year.
Sports Director Dan Booth was on the course all day. And Dan, give us some insight into a situation involving the defending champion, Anna Davis.
Meredith and Will, the first round is in the books, and it was a beautiful day for some golf over here. The course conditions did play a role with a steady breeze that the players had to deal with for most of the day, and because of all the recent rain, a lift, clean, and place rule was put into effect, which ended up having a massive impact on our defending champion, Anna Davis. On the first tee, Davis drove the ball into the wind and wound up in the rough on the right side, just under the rope that actually borders the course. Davis went on to bogey the hole, or so she thought. After the round, Davis was given 2 separate 2-stroke penalties for failing to replace the ball on its original spot. Here's what the reigning champion had to say after the round.
Bird flies were only in the fairway today, and I learned that after the first hole. On my first drive, I was in a rough, did my whole thing, there's not on it. My second shot in the rough, same thing. So that was a 4-shot penalty right there. But a little rough start to the day, but it's alright, it happens. It's a learning experience. So.
This penalty means that instead of finishing the first round even, Davis's score drops to 4 under, making it much more difficult for her to climb back and repeat as champion. I'll have the latest on this situation, in addition to everything that took place in the first round, and we'll hear from some patrons who are really enjoying themselves on the course today, ahead at News 12 at 6 o'clock. Reporting from Champions Retreat, Dan Booth on your side.
All right, thanks for that, Danny. Here, Anna Davis there talking. Rough start to the day. You learn from it. You move on. Hopefully that's something that she can learn from and move on. It's going to be a tough task to try to catch up to Rose Zhang, who is the leader after round 1.
And it was a little bit difficult to hear her, but what she was talking about was, you know what, I'm going to chalk this up to a learning experience. She was laughing it off, so she was really a good sport.
A mature way to handle
Absolutely.
that situation.
And to be so young, I mean, she was the youngest player ever to win the Augusta National Women's Am, so to have that maturity and that outlook after such what had to have been a devastating blow.
Yeah, I mean, you come back from 5 over to battle back to get even, and then they hit you with that at the end of your round. Yeah, definitely something that you weren't expecting, but we'll see if she can overcome that in these next few rounds. A relief for inmates and families at Charles B. Webster Detention Center. Today, the City Commission approved funding for a major replacement project. That's over $26,000 for chilled water coils for the HVAC systems. City Commission also made steps to make the Augusta Municipal Golf Course more accessible to you guys at home. They are moving forward with a plan to offer course management to Augusta Technical College. From there, Augusta Tech would relocate their golf course management degree program to the course, plus expand partnerships with First Tee of Augusta and the Warrior Alliance. They can also host specialized privatized events.
Today is Sini Day. It's the last day of Georgia's General Assembly, and it's the last time that they can pass bills for 2023. Legislators have until midnight tonight to pass laws for the rest of this year. Abby Kasoris gives us a closer look at what bills are at stake here.
The only thing that the General Assembly is required to do is to pass a budget. And heading into the evening hours, the budget bill still hasn't been brought up for a vote.
Compromise is not a bad thing. And if you don't get what you want, and you don't get 100% of what you want, if you get 10%.
Compromise between the House and the Senate's priorities. That's what Representative Matt Hatchett says is in these budget bills on the desks of all lawmakers on the last day of the legislative session.
The only people in this budget that are getting 100% of what they want are our students on Hope.
The budget would fully fund the Hope Scholarship for students who qualify, something that Governor Brian Kemp included in his initial plan. Currently, the scholarship is closer to 90% of tuition. The House originally wanted to increase it to 95% of tuition. Education is the largest chunk of the budget. The state would spend a record $13 billion in K-12 education.
This session, we will not only build on the monumental achievements of the past 4 years, we will set Georgia on a path of greatness for generations to come.
The Senate favors boosting pay for law enforcement. Governor Brian Kemp proposed $2,000 raises. The House proposed $4,000 raises, but this bill includes $6,000 raises.
Because we're spending the hard-earned dollars of taxpayers that have sent them to us and entrusted us to make good decisions. We've landed at a spot that I think is something that we can all be pleased of and be proud of.
There's some pretty crazy rules here within the General Assembly. Those budgets have to sit on the desks of those House members for at least an hour before it can be called up for a vote, and in the Senate for 2 hours. So this means that it would have to be brought up before the dinner break or even after, later on in the night. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasoris.
Thanks, Abby. We are lacing up our skates and hitting up the rink. Next, live at 5, we tell you more about a big derby competition happening this weekend. Riley?
And we do have a cold night up ahead. If you live away from the city, I would expect 30s by daybreak tomorrow morning. I've looked at some warmer temps, though, the rest of the week, and also some weekend rain just after the break.
250 students all wanting to take the next steps in becoming teachers. Find out how Columbia County is looking to help them out. All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
With what's expected Saturday, because during this time of year, usually when we see our severe weather, so things can change pretty quickly. So for that weekend forecast, storm Saturday, clear again by Sunday, and then looking ahead to next week, we'll have the chance for a few hit-and-miss showers most days.
Thanks, Riley. Did you know we have a roller derby team right here in Augusta? Well, if you didn't, now you know. And this weekend, the Soul City Sirens are hosting the biggest derby event of the season.
It is this Saturday on April Fool's.
Of course it is.
The title is perfect, called Skating Fool's Day. If you've ever watched the movie Whip It, this is nothing like that. Our Will Volk stopped by one of their practices to see what goes into the sport.
3 times a week, Augusta's roller derby team puts on the skates and meets at the rink.
We're really close, and this is a really good group of people, and all are welcome. So the community makes it what it is.
Players from the Soul City Sirens say roller derby is a fun and physical sport, but it's not violent.
Yeah, it's not like the movies. There is no
not
lining, there's no
Not like
punching, there's no kicking.
Yeah, it's legit. It's not like wrestling.
The team circles the track on roller skates, and the goal is to not let the other team through.
We do block, we do hit, but in the legal zones, there are penalties. We make sure we're safe. We teach people how to be safe because, we want to continue on doing this sport.
Now, the Soul City Sirens are getting ready to host what they call Augusta's biggest roller derby event of the season. They'll be competing and also welcoming other players from across the region.
It's going to be 50 players from the southeast that are all going to be matched together on different teams, and it's going to be super fun.
How fun?
A lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, so fun. So fun.
In Augusta, Will Volk on your side.
Well, I didn't even know that any of that was happening. I didn't even really know what roller derby was until we watched that. I've heard of it, just never really knew what happened.
I always thought it was a little bit more dangerous and rough. So
It
I'm
looks
glad,
dangerous
I
and
know,
rough.
but I'm glad they specified that there is, no kicking, no punching.
They're wearing helmets. There's
Well, yeah.
plenty going on there. I'd come in crutches if I did that.
I would, yeah, and I'd break something. But that event will be Saturday at 10 o'clock. It's at the Red Wing Rollerway. The Sirens also say if you are interested in learning how to be part of their roller derby team.
This guy right here.
Are you a siren?
I may.
You notice that they're all women.
I'm the first.
You could, maybe.
I'm the first.
Well, Will, you can contact them and see if you could be
There you go.
the first
That's
Soul City side
Yeah.
man.
That's the attitude.
There you go.
That spirit.
All right, the Trolls are returning for their third movie this fall.
Poppy, we're gonna be late to the royal wedding. Let's go get married.
Grant.
What? I mean, let's get Bridget and Crystal married.
Yeah. Oh, because that would be weird if we got married.
Yeah.
Wow.
So weird.
Blech.
Trolls Band Together finds new couple Poppy and Branch embarking on a journey to find Branch's brother who's been kidnapped by nefarious pop star villains. Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick play Branch and Poppy. Other famous voices include Amy Schumer, Kenan Thompson, Zooey Deschanel, and RuPaul. Trolls Band Together arrives in theaters in November.
What? I mean, let's get Bridget.
Well, a teenager's family says he was hazed and tortured by the people who claim to be his friends. We have the story next, live at 5.
Save on a tankless
Will only get bigger and more expensive. Candy Foundation Specialist is the trusted expert for sinking foundations and settling concrete. Foundation problems don't get better over time.
They get better when you call my dad.
Chilling new details in the case of a Georgia 19-year-old who may have been the victim of hazing so severe that he had to be put on a ventilator for nearly a week. Zach Summers has the new details.
That's very disturbing.
It was in this home on St. Simon's Island where 19-year-old Trent Learcamp reportedly was tortured and humiliated by teens on several occasions. The most recent incident nearly turned fatal.
What happened was beyond human.
According to a police report obtained by Atlanta News First, 3 minors dropped Learcamp off at Southeast Georgia Health System in Brunswick the night of March 21st. He was soaked in urine, covered in spray paint, and had a blood alcohol level of .464. A lethal dose that required him to be put on a ventilator. An image from that night posted to social media appears to show Learcamp unconscious and bound to a chair.
He's the nicest person I've ever met.
Learcamp's dad told Glenn County Police his son never returns home normal when he's with this particular group. 4 days prior, Learcamp reportedly came home covered in paint, glue, and egg yolk. 2 weeks before that, his dad told police his son required stitches for a cut above his eye. He added that his son has no other friends, and he thinks the teens care for him. We stopped by the house on Tuesday, but no one was home. The allegations has this coastal community demanding justice. At the helm, Ahmaud Arbery's aunt. Their family notoriously waited 74 days before Arbery's killers were charged and arrested.
When you have money in our community, money pays off a lot of these situations. We're going to fight until Trent gets the justice that he deserves.
So difficult. To another difficult story now. Quentin Simon's remains are back in Savannah. According to the FBI, they were brought back over the weekend. Search crews found the 20-month-old's body in a Chatham County landfill last November, after his mother, Leilani Simon, reported him missing on October 5th. She is now being charged with his death. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says it will perform an exam on the toddler's remains this week.
New at 5, if the banks fail, a new proposed bill would require executives to give back their pay. A bipartisan group of senators have introduced the bill. The FDIC would have to retrieve all or part of the pay the executives would have gotten in the 5 years before a failure. According to the legislation, bank holding company investors would also have to bear the losses of the insured.
Well, we are going to see a nice couple of days through Friday, but heading into the weekend, we are tracking that next chance for rain. Now look at that full forecast just after the break.
It's March Flat and Chevy.
Well, have you ever thought my breakfast doesn't have enough noodles in it?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
I
Popular
love
ramen brand Cup of Noodles has the perfect solution here. It's announced a new breakfast version of their instant ramen.
The company describes this new product as a budget-friendly blend of sausage, maple syrup pancakes, eggs, along with their classic noodles.
Okay, that actually doesn't sound that bad.
See,
They should have brought Buddy the Elf to sponsor them.
There you go.
Because doesn't he have the spaghetti with like?
Okay, how about
syrup
this?
and
We could do this and then mix it with the ranch ice cream, and then have a great breakfast. Very nutritious.
I actually liked the ranch ice cream. I'm like the only human.
I didn't try it, but I think I'd like it.
I did like it.
No.
I did like it.
You're just a hater, Riley. You
No.
probably like
No, I'm
cheese.
literally the only person in our entire building. You gotta try it.
Yeah.
I gotta try it. I'll try it
It's
and
in
I'll
the
post it on
station
social media.
fridge.
I don't think
We'll do it
anyone
after.
figured it out yet. So yeah, you gotta get a taste, Will. It's
I will.
not
I heard
worth
it was like garlic and onions, but that's not that bad.
I know.
like
See,
that.
to me, that's
good.
heaven.
Yeah, I like that. That's not bad.
Just not the texture and flavors that need to go together.
Stop your complaining. It's good.
It was bad. I would
Stop
not
it.
recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. Hey, we got Muddy River, high water as well, but not a bad afternoon for us. Temperatures are a little bit cooler than average. We're only seeing highs in the 60s today. We are going to be warming up the next couple of afternoons, but we do have another cold night ahead. I would say if you live away from the city, your low temperatures tomorrow morning most likely will be in the 30s, but we are going to warm up the next couple of afternoons and then tracking that chance for storms Saturday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for that, Riley. Oh, we need the rain to stay out, though. That's it for us. First at 5, live at 5. News 12 at 6 o'clock. Coming up next.